Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to a very, very calm FPL. Don't panic. Who am I kidding? It's a mess, folks. It's an absolute mess. Before, um, before I get into talking about my team, and that's just the main topic of what am I going to do with my team this week. I think I've made my final decisions, but now that we've had those cup matches out of the way, which has given us literally, really, it's only added more confusion to the maelstrom of disaster that looms before us that we've got to navigate over the next 5, 6, 7, 8 game weeks. I probably could have, should have, would have, but I've got a really busy day today, and I'm actually going to be off grid in about 6 hours' time, literally for the next 3 or 4 days. So I've just got to try to work this out as best I can. So have your pens and papers ready? This is how I think it sort of plays out in terms of the blanks and doubles. Don't hold me to task on this if I've got anything slightly wrong. Don't think I'm too far off the mark, but it's just to give you an idea of what we've got to deal with. Over the next 6, 7, 8 games. We know we've got blank 29, and I'm sure most of us are realising we've got problems there. Most teams, I think, are going to have 1 or 2 injuries, 1 or 2 minutes risks. Manage through 29 if you can, though. Seriously, try not to free hit. Try not to free hit, because post that we've got double 32, 2 teams. We're going to have double 33, 6 to 8 teams. We're going to have blank 34, 6 to 8 teams. A possible double in 36, 2 to 4 teams, and a possible blank in 37, 2 to 4 teams. There is an actual slight possibility that we could actually end up with an additional double added into 32, although it takes a relatively unlikely sequence of events for that to happen. But sod's law, it probably will happen. And even with that mapped out, the way the matches are getting scheduled at the moment, you can't even say this is sort of almost like a best and probably an 80 to 90% accurate-ish guess. But nothing certain at the moment, as we've discovered this season, with surprise doubles. But yeah, that's a reasonable map. Even if I've got that wrong, it's going to be something close to that, and it just shows you what we're going to have to deal with, post 30 effectively. So hang on to your free hits, folks. I wish I had one. The only thing that's making me feel slightly better about my very, very flawed chip strategy, as it turns out, well, if it had worked, it wouldn't have been flawed, but using the likes of my free hit, etc., in those early game weeks, trying to get upside, trying to get a buffer, is the guy that's actually at number 1 in the world looks like he played the exact same strategy. So I don't think he's going to be at number 1 in the world for much longer when he's got to deal with this as well. One of the things that I have noted, as usual, in those top teams, they don't do hits, they manage through. And I think a lot of us are going to be, as am I, going to be tempted to take hits to manage through 29. I'm not saying don't do it. Sometimes hits work. My guesstimate is they work about 25% of the time. A long-term strategic hitter, as I like to call them, swaps, strategic worsening of points. Yeah, I think they can be justified sometimes, but a lot of the time you don't get an immediate upside, and sometimes they just work against you. So my thoughts, I'm going to try and manage through. I may do one transfer this week. And then hopefully no more injury concerns, and I can do another transfer in 29 to, fingers crossed, I can still scrape an 11 out with 2 transfers, but even the 11 I have out, there's minutes risks around them and all sorts of things. It's where we are at the moment, and as I say, the operative phrase is, don't panic, just try and manage through it and see where we land. In terms of the team going out and the possible transfer, Pickford, yeah, fine. Just set and forget at the moment, and always decent chance of saves points with Cunha out. Yeah, got to fancy Everton. Wolves will not be the same team without Cunha. I think there's a decent chance of a clean sheet there. It's in the lap of the gods as always. Clean sheets. Gabriel, Man United away, decent chance of a clean sheet. I hope they don't keep a clean sheet as a United supporter. But the reality is, United are pretty toothless, unless Bruno comes up with a piece of magic. Doesn't seem to be a lot happening there at the moment. we can talk about injury decimation, but other teams have got the same issues, and they're doing all right. And my team is languishing down, happily just about clear of relegation trouble at the moment. Who would have thought I'd have been saying that at this stage of the season? United, oh hell, we're safe from relegation. Sad days indeed, folks. Sad days indeed. And also it'll be absolute sod's law that Gabriel will get a goal or two from set pieces, because United are fucking awful at defending set pieces. And I've been saying for about, I think, the last 10 to 12 weeks, Gabriel might get me a goal this week. Gabriel might get me a goal this week. Nothing. Coming close loads of times. And against that United defence, we cannot defend a set piece. It's probably going to be sod's law. He's going to get on the end of something this week. We'll see. Trent is a worry. I'm really worried about Trent for this game. If you're going to rest Trent, he's going to he's going to be get rested against Southampton. Although they've got 11-point lead at the top. They've got important European matches coming up. They've got a Carabao Cup final. It's got a horrible feeling he's going to end up benched. Hopefully he starts and they just take him off on 61 minutes with a clean sheet intact. And you never know, he might have got an attacking return for me. But if they're going to rest him anywhere, it'll be Southampton. Who do they play instead of him? I know they've got Bradley's out injured, obviously still. Honestly, they could put the toilet cleaner in at right back, and they'd probably be able to defend adequately against Southampton. We'll see. We'll see. I think he's a big minutes risk this particular game week. Milenkovic, City, home, not ideal. I'd have preferred to have been playing Hall. I guess I could consider Howson. Might change that. But I don't know. I think Forest, at home, City can, they're still not great at attacking. Certainly, not the potent force of old. But Haaland has been scoring reasonably consistently. Marmoush, not bad. I like him as a player. Still under consideration to maybe bring in for 29. Because that's the other thing, is I know I'm not going to be able to get to Haaland now. I just have to accept I'm not going to be able to get to Haaland in 29 without taking hits. Just think, I'd probably have to take two, I think, to try and get a full 11 out and still bring Haaland in. I was in a nice position to do it a few weeks ago, but between the various injuries, between Ndiaye, now Cunha, and now Hall, and there was someone else as well. It's just been one after the other, just burning up transfers when I wanted to get to 29 with the transfers in place that I could bring in Haaland nice and easily. That's gone. Boom. Plans of FPL managers and men and mice. Salah. Salah, as I said in the last video, even if Liverpool had 5 matches this week, Salah would start each and every one. But I doubt he'll play the 90 minutes if Liverpool do go 2-3-4 up, which is highly likely. I doubt he will play the 90 minutes. I think Slot will start to protect his players in matches like this. And even if Salah doesn't want to come off, ultimately it won't be his decision. But clearly I still think captain's armband there. I do have one other little temptation on the captain's armband. Feels risky, and no, it is not Palmer. Hopefully, I'm resigned to the fact I'm going to have Palmer for the next 2, 3, 4 game weeks, just because he obviously is going to play every match. A few decent fixtures in there, but as we've seen, doesn't matter how good the fixtures are, Palmer is not firing. I think we were a little bit unlucky with those of us that captained him last week. He should have had a couple of returns, and Salah only got the assist. And if you look at the stats in the game, Palmer really should have had at least a goal, probably 2. He's just not the confident Palmer that we know and have loved, and he's certainly not our captain's pick. I mean, it is the sort of game he could easily just find his form again against a weak Leicester team, and they could bang 2, 3, or 4 goals. At least I hope so, because there has been a Palmer fire sale on. So Palmer, if he does return, will make a difference to our ranks. So fingers crossed. My favourite fixture of the week that I've got in my team at the moment, and as my surefire starter, is Mbeumo at home to Villa. Villa, as we have seen, are consistently awful the week after Europe, particularly if they're away from home. is Mbeumo a captaincy option? I don't think I'm going to go there. I don't think anyone's going to be moving away from Salah this week. It's not a bad punt though. Not a bad punt if you were in a position to punt if you're chasing rank or, but it's not a bad punt. Easily a chance of a goal or two there, and obviously he's on penalties as well. I don't think I'll be doing that. In fact, I'll say now I won't be doing that. But if anyone is feeling in a sort of a punty kind of mood, I don't think it's a bad one. I can easily see Brentford getting 2 or 3 goals in that one, and Mbeumo should be involved. Dango is a minute's risk, but I've got to put him out there for now. Hopefully he gets at least 30, but hopefully he actually starts and gets at least 60. But the Cliver owners will be feeling very justified in choosing Cliver over Dango now. Cliver's come back obviously early. Dango and Cliver were both on the bench in midweek for the cup match, I think. Lap of the gods. We just have to see what happens there. Nwaneri, I'm pretty confident he'll be a starter and probably score against my club, which is again it's just going to be sod's law after a blank or two from him. He got a goal. He got a goal this morning. We'll again see how that one plays out. But he was supposed to be benched this week, but clearly that's not an option for me. Watkins is a worry for this fixture. Watkins has done well for me, but again, just Villa coming back from Europe, they just tend to look very, very tired and very, very leggy. Squad depth isn't there to handle Europe and Premiership. They did very, very well this morning, in fairness, but they'll be coming back knackered. And I think Villa will get a drubbing against Brentford, and I'm not sure I can see them scoring. If they do get a goal, I suppose there's a decent chance Watkins involved in it. And Isak is also a worry. Of course he is. Even if he is 90% fit, I'm not sure how we'll play him. Even if he's 100% fit. What is Howe going to be prioritising? We're not going to get an honest answer out of Eddie Howe. Simple as that. It's similar to Arteta. He either lies or just doesn't give you the information that you need, and just got to hope that he starts for this one. So I'd say in that team at the moment, there's at least 3 big minutes risks, and fixtures ain't great for a few of them as well. Just the way it's all panned out. And Houston on the bench, and then obviously Hall and Cunha. So possible transfer, which would improve the situation now, but does it? If there are any more injuries between now and 29, does that dig me into a bigger hole? Would be to get rid of Cunha. He's obviously gone until, would it be gone now until 33, 34, and I don't think I want to deal with Cunha anymore. The guy is actually a bit of a liability. As good as he is, he's an absolutely amazing player. But he's burned most of us, I would imagine, twice now. So if I was to bring in a player, I'm sort of considering options, Marmoush. Yeah, don't mind the idea of that, but I might do that in 29 for Watkins. To again give me a playing player in 29. Would possibly, but not a great fixture to bring him in on. Saying that, of course, he'll go and get a goal or two now against City, who we know can concede a goal or two. But I'm thinking Wizza. Just look for that upside on Brentford against Villa at home. We know he'll definitely be playing. We know his numbers are absolutely fabulous. He's just hitting a little bit of a hot streak at the moment. It had some really great underlying numbers without scoring in a few games, and then now he's just actually now starting to get the returns to justify those underlying numbers. So I think Wizza's on a little bit of a hot streak. So if I make a transfer, it will be Cunha out, I think, and bring Wizza in for that Villa home fixture. Then I've got another playing player for 29, and then hopefully there are no more injury surprises or whatever, and I can decide, whether it'll be Watkins to Marmoush, or do I turn Hall into someone? We're still awaiting obviously information on Hall on these tests. Hopefully get some good news. Never know. But I think this week I will just have to take that punt. I don't like the look of my team, and I just think bringing Cunha in. That's what I look at it as well. Nwaneri, even though I don't want Nwaneri to score against United, it's just sod's law that will happen. Do I just hold out? Do I just hold out? If all of those 11 play, it's not that bad. I think if I brought Cunha in, sorry, if I brought Wizard in for Cunha, I think it would be Dango that I would bench, just because I just don't think he's going to start. I have to make these decisions in the next few hours. At the moment, that's the starting 11, so I'm either going to roll or do a transfer. Doing a Michael Owen there. Well, if they score a goal and the other team doesn't score, they're going to win the game. Yeah. Thanks, Michael. But it's just a little bit like that. Do I do I roll or do I do a transfer? I talked myself into doing the Cunha move, but I'm almost, as I think through it, talking myself out of it again. I think we're just going to find out because I'm going to be offline in a few hours. I think we're, and that's going to be pretty much for the rest of the weekend. I think the only time I'm going to have the answer for that one for you guys is come game week 28 review. So we'll leave you on that knife edge for now. I hope your team's in a bit of a better state than mine. As I said, my only advice, for what it's worth, I am no expert. I love the game, and I love chatting to you guys. I love the conversations and all the feedback. But expert I am not. Lover of the game I am. Going to leave you on the knife edge decision. Cunha out, Wizard in, or roll. Still not sure. You know what? I'm very, very 50-50 on it. 51-49. 51-49. It's a tricky few game weeks ahead, guys. Tricky few game weeks ahead. Hope your team's in a little bit better shape than mine. And that we come through this next game week, which will be fairly imminent soon, with some juicy green arrows. But again, I'm just I'm about 240k now. There was a bit of a drop after after last week, but it wasn't as bad as what I was expecting. I think there's going to be hits taken this week, so that's probably my only other thinking on this as well. Is if you are ravaged by injuries, but you can get a team out without hits, try not to take them. Try not to take them. They just don't work in the long run. Sad fact of life. Take care. Have fun. Play your own game. Don't panic. See you on the flip side. Take care. Bye bye.